Welcome back. As we get closer to school budget votes in mid-May, many local school boards, superintendents, and other district leaders may be under extreme pressure to work out new budgets. That's because some say Governor Hochul is changing the funding rules. Channel 2's Ron Plan says some school leaders warn that tax hikes along with program and job cuts could be on the horizon unless things change.
At last Tuesday's school board meeting, acting West Seneca School Superintendent Jeffrey Raby tried to explain the budget fix they're in, and he laid it out even starker for residents and district taxpayers with his recent news update that with Albany school funding changes in the governor's new budget plan, they are anticipating, quote, difficult decisions, including potential reductions within the organization. There was also a mention of the possible need to raise property taxes. So today,
is it realistic possibility that there could be tax increases ultimately?
2.3% or slightly lower.
that is with the mandated property tax cap, which some districts across the state have talked about exceeding if voters would actually accept it. Raby says they're also looking at various programs, and when asked about possible district job reductions, he would not get specific.
And we are still in the evaluation process, so I don't want to do any speculation. I have no specificity at this point in time. So what our next steps are, Ron, are we will take a look at our first draft of the budget at our first meeting in April.
Really, it's a complete 180 for a lot of districts in terms of where they are now compared to where they were expecting to be at this point.
The School Boards Association says the governor's claims of record increases in school funding of $5 billion over 2 years is technically correct. But now changes in the actual funding formula and even the state's inflation assessment gauge has actually left many districts behind in funding statewide by $500 million.
We wanted all that positivity and full funding to continue going into 24-25. But unfortunately, the governor's budget proposal for hundreds of districts across the state meaningfully pulls back or takes a true step back.
The School Boards Association says state lawmakers are indeed hearing the concerns and complaints of education leaders and will probably push back on the governor's budget office. Interesting accounting adjustments, we'll call them, when it comes to education funding. They're hoping the public gets involved as well. And remember that extra federal COVID relief funding that some districts really plugged into their budgets actually phases out in September, Claudine.
It's very interesting because we know a lot of kids are still trying to catch up from the pandemic. Learning loss has been something. They've had a lot of mental health issues. But would this impact like new teachers and special education teachers and counselors and those new hires? Are they the ones that will be affected most if there are cuts?
They told us it's kind of hard to say because, in fact, the governor has even funneled more money into those types of programs, especially for mental health and the recovery learning from the pandemic. But they do say that, indeed, you might see some of these cuts filter in. So we will see where things go, and I'm sure this is going to be under a lot of discussion in Albany.
You're right about that. And the children, that's really the focus, right?
Correct.
They're going to feel it.